Cleopatra VII of Egypt, a name synonymous with beauty, power, and ambition. As the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt, she ruled with unmatched charisma and intelligence. Cleopatra dreamt of a world where her kingdom wouldn't just survive, but thrive. She envisioned an empire, a fusion of Egypt and Rome, a beacon of power and prosperity. But the path to realizing this vision was fraught with challenges, demanding cunning strategy and unwavering resolve. Cleopatra knew that the fate of her kingdom wouldn't rest solely on her shoulders. She sought to secure her lineage, her legacy. Her children, she believed, would be the key to cementing her dream, each one a vital piece in the grand tapestry of her ambition. They were to be the heirs to her vision, the future rulers of this envisioned empire. But destiny, as we know, has its own plans. The lives of Cleopatra's children would become intertwined with the tumultuous politics of their time, a dangerous game played out on the grand stage of empires. Love, betrayal, war, and intrigue would shape their destinies in ways no one could have foreseen. This is the story of Cleopatra's children, a tale of ambition and loss, of survival and resilience. It's a glimpse into their lives, forever entangled with the legacy of their legendary mother and the fall of a dynasty. Cleopatra's children were born into a world on the brink of change. Each child represented a different facet of her dreams and ambitions. Their lives, though tragically short-lived for some, would leave an indelible mark on history. Caesarion, her eldest, born from her relationship with Julius Caesar, embodied the potential union of Egypt and Rome. He was the embodiment of Cleopatra's hopes for a unified empire, a dream that would be brutally cut short. Then came the twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, born from Cleopatra's passionate love affair with Mark Antony. Their very names, Helios the sun and Selene the moon, spoke of the boundless ambition their parents held for them. They were to rule over vast lands, extending their parents' influence and power. Finally, there was Ptolemy Philadelphus, the youngest, also a child of Antony and Cleopatra. His life, much like his older brother Alexander Helios, remained shrouded in mystery, a testament to the turbulent times they lived in. These were Cleopatra's children, each one a unique thread in the intricate tapestry of their mother's ambitions. Their stories, though often overshadowed by Cleopatra's own, offer a poignant glimpse into the lives caught in the crossfire of empires, where loyalty and betrayal could mean the difference between life and death. Born in 47 BCE, Caesarion's very existence sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic. His name, Ptolemy XIV Philopator Philometor Caesar, was a mouthful, but it was the last part, Caesarion, that held the most weight. It meant Little Caesar, a constant reminder of his lineage and the ambitions Cleopatra held for him. He was, in her eyes, the rightful heir to both Egypt and Rome, a living testament to her relationship with the most powerful man in the Roman world. Cleopatra spared no expense in Caesarion's upbringing. He was educated by the most learned scholars, trained in the art of war, and steeped in both Egyptian and Roman traditions. He was paraded before the Egyptian people, his image emblazoned on temple walls, a constant reminder of his divine right to rule. Cleopatra ensured that everyone knew Caesarion was destined for greatness. However, the Roman world was not as accepting. Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE left a power vacuum, and Rome was plunged into civil war. Cleopatra, fearing for her own safety and that of her son, fled back to Egypt. Caesarion, still a child, was now a pawn in a much larger game, his fate intrinsically tied to the tumultuous politics of Rome. Despite the uncertainty, Cleopatra never wavered in her belief that Caesarion was destined to rule. She declared him co-ruler of Egypt, and together they worked to strengthen their kingdom, preparing for the day when Caesarion would claim his birthright as the ruler of a vast and powerful empire. Their bond, forged in the fires of ambition and the shadow of an ever-looming threat, would shape Caesarion's destiny and ultimately lead to his tragic end. Life as a young king in waiting was a double-edged sword for Caesarion. He was surrounded by luxury and privilege, his every whim catered to. Yet he also carried the weight of expectation on his young shoulders. He was constantly reminded of his lineage, of his mother's dreams, and the precarious position of their kingdom in a world dominated by Rome. Cleopatra, a shrewd politician and loving mother, carefully orchestrated Caesarion's public image. He was presented as the embodiment of Horus, the falcon god, and a symbol of kingship in Egyptian mythology. This association aimed to solidify his legitimacy in the eyes of the Egyptian people, who revered their pharaohs as living gods. But Caesarion was not just a figurehead. He was intelligent, quick-witted, and showed a keen interest in matters of state. Cleopatra, recognizing his potential, included him in political discussions and strategic planning. She was determined to mold him into the ruler she envisioned him to be, one capable of navigating the treacherous waters of Roman politics and securing Egypt's future. However, the specter of Rome loomed large over their lives. With the rise of Octavian, Caesar's adopted son and heir, the dream of a unified empire under Caesarion's rule began to crumble. The stage was set for a final, tragic confrontation, one that would decide not only the fate of Egypt, but also the life of the last pharaoh. As Caesarion grew older, so too did the threat from Rome. Octavian, having consolidated his power, turned his attention eastward, viewing Cleopatra and her son as obstacles to his ambition of becoming the sole ruler of the Roman world. The relationship between the two powers, once one of cautious alliance, deteriorated into open hostility. In 32 BCE, the Roman Senate, at Octavian's urging, declared war on Cleopatra. The conflict was as much about propaganda as it was about military conquest. Octavian painted Cleopatra as a manipulative seductress, a foreign queen who had bewitched Mark Antony and threatened the stability of Rome. Caesarion, the embodiment of his mother's ambition and a living reminder of Julius Caesar's legacy, became a target. Cleopatra, recognizing the danger, tried to negotiate with Octavian, but to no avail. She knew that defeat was almost inevitable. In a desperate attempt to secure her son's safety, she sent Caesarion south to Berenice, a port city on the Red Sea, hoping he could escape to safety in India or Ethiopia. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Tragically, Caesarion's escape was thwarted. Betrayed by those he trusted, he was captured by Roman soldiers and brought back to Alexandria. Octavian, fearing Caesarion's claim to the Roman throne and unwilling to risk the possibility of another Caesar challenging his authority, ordered his execution. With his death, the Ptolemaic dynasty, which had ruled Egypt for centuries, came to an abrupt and tragic end. Caesarion's reign as the last pharaoh of Egypt was tragically short-lived. He was just 17 years old when he was executed on Octavian's orders, his life cut short before he could truly fulfill the destiny his mother had envisioned for him. His death marked the end of an era, the absorption of Egypt into the Roman Empire, and the beginning of a new chapter in history. Despite his short reign, Caesarion left a lasting impact on the Egyptian consciousness. He was seen by many as a symbol of resistance against Roman rule, a martyr for the cause of Egyptian independence. His image continued to be revered and his story was passed down through generations, a reminder of a time when Egypt stood as a powerful and independent kingdom. However, Caesarion's legacy extends beyond the borders of Egypt. His life, and particularly his tragic death, serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of power, the fickle nature of fate, and the often brutal realities of political ambition. He stands as a reminder that even those born into privilege and destined for greatness are not immune to the whims of fate. Though his life was cut tragically short, Caesarion's story continues to fascinate historians and capture the imagination of people around the world. He remains a symbol of a lost dynasty, a tragic hero whose potential was never fully realized, and a reminder of the enduring legacy of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. In 40 BCE, amidst political turmoil, twins were born. Their parents were Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, and Mark Antony, the Roman general. These were Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene, the sun and the moon. Their names were imbued with symbolism and ambition. Alexander Helios represented light and power. Cleopatra Selene embodied the mystical and the night sky. Together, they symbolized the celestial union of day and night. Cleopatra and Antony saw their twins as the embodiment of their dream. The year was 34 BCE. Cleopatra and Antony, their love still burning bright, made a bold statement to the world. They orchestrated a grand spectacle in Alexandria. This event, known as the Donations of Alexandria, would forever be etched in history. In front of a massive crowd, Cleopatra and Antony presented their children to the world. Each child was bestowed with impressive titles. Alexander Helios was declared king of Armenia, Media, and Parthia. Cleopatra Selene was proclaimed ruler of Cyrene. Ptolemy Philadelphus received the title of king of Syria and Cilicia. These pronouncements sent a clear message to the Roman world. Cleopatra and Antony were staking their claim. It was a direct challenge to Octavian and the Roman Senate. The donations of Alexandria would prove to be a double-edged sword. It painted a target on their backs. Octavian saw this event as a direct threat. The stage was set for a final confrontation. A life for Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene was a whirlwind of luxury and education. They resided in a lavish palace in Alexandria, surrounded by the finest amenities. Their days were filled with lessons in politics, philosophy, and warfare. Cleopatra took a personal interest in their upbringing. She ensured they were fluent in multiple languages and well-versed in both cultures. Alexander Helios excelled in military strategy and horsemanship. Cleopatra Selene displayed a natural talent for negotiation and diplomacy. The twins found solace in each other's company. They explored the palace gardens and shared secrets under the starlit sky. But fate had other plans for these young royals. The year 31 BCE marked a turning point for Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene. The Battle of Actium shattered their world, casting a pall over Alexandria and their future. After Alexandria's fall, Cleopatra Selene and her brothers were paraded in Rome as trophies. Octavian spared Selene, showcasing his mercy, and she was raised in Roman society under Octavia Minor's guardianship. In 20 BCE, Cleopatra Selene married Juba II and ruled Mauretania. She transformed the kingdom, blending Egyptian heritage with Roman education, fostering prosperity and culture. Cleopatra Selene ruled Mauretania for over 2 decades, marked by peace and cultural exchange. Her court became a beacon of learning, blending Egyptian, Greek, and Roman traditions. Cleopatra Selene died around 5 BCE, leaving a legacy of wisdom and influence. Her son, Ptolemy of Mauretania, continued her prosperous reign, solidifying her legacy. Ptolemy Philadelphus, the youngest of Cleopatra and Antony's children, was a pawn in their political ambitions. His early life was one of privilege, but the Battle of Actium shattered his world. After Actium, Ptolemy Philadelphus was taken to Rome and vanished from historical records. His fate remains a mystery, a poignant reminder of the capricious nature of power. The fall of Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Only Cleopatra Selene navigated Roman politics, emerging as a queen in her own right. The children of Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony carried the weight of their lineage. Cleopatra Selene embraced her dual heritage, blending Egyptian roots with Roman upbringing, leaving a lasting legacy. The children of Cleopatra VII and Mark Antony lived between 2 civilizations, products of a cultural crossroads. Raised with the knowledge of both Egypt and Rome, yet never fully belonging to either, this duality shaped their identities. Caesarion, the last pharaoh of Egypt, was also a Roman citizen, a dream of a unified empire unattainable. Cleopatra Selene, Queen of Mauretania, reconciled her dual heritage, creating a unique cultural blend. Her story offers hope, a testament to adaptation and legacy. Thank you for watching. Please leave your comments.